How y'all doing, Cowboys Nation? Paul Ryan back at it again with, of course, the late night vibes. I hope everybody's having a good Saturday night. I hope everybody's being safe. That being said, I'll keep it brief, guys. As always, I was online trying to find something, anything to talk about with you guys to keep you up to date, to keep you informed on anything and everything Cowboys. And I stumbled across an article by Dan Rogers of Cowboys.com, DallasCowboys.com, and the title of this article is a player that everybody seems to have forgotten about. And the player in this article is Chauncey Golston. And Chauncey Golston's having a bit of an interesting offseason as far as storylines go. I believe it was last week I talked to you guys about a uh, Katie Drummond article of 15 players that could potentially not make the Cowboys, and Chauncey Golston was on that list. And about a month or so, even longer ago, there was an article talking about how Chauncey Golston could be a difference maker in this Mike Zimmerman defense when you look at the lack of depth on the defensive line. And now we have another article where Dan Rogers is implying that maybe Chauncey Golston is like a forgotten player that maybe somebody we could keep our eye on. So a lot of but totally different ends of the spectrum there. He could either be cut or he could be a difference maker. That being said, I mean, with the lack of depth, I'm excited to see what Chauncey Golston can do. He's had some good games. He's had some good plays. He's kind of been not somewhat more of a special teams guy, but he's had some plays when given the opportunity. So now, hey, I'd like to see what he can do. But the reason I brought this up was Chauncey Golston wasn't the player in this article that caught my eye. The player that he also mentioned was Viliami Fihoko, another rookie that we had last year who didn't do much, but that was because of injury. And you look at Fijoko's profile, it's pretty interesting, especially in this Mike Zimmer defense. What you think he could do? He's got an aggressive play style. He's got a nose for the football. He had 22 sacks total in his last 3 years in college. Lots of tackles for loss. I believe he's also pretty solid in the run game as well. The only thing going against him is his size. He's what people would call a tweener. He's not really big enough to be a defensive tackle, but maybe too small, or excuse me, not fast enough to be a defensive end. So that was one thing in his profile that was going against him. That being said, if Mike Zimmer is anything like Dan Quinn, where he can get the best out of his players, I think Fehoko is another player that, hey, with the lack of depth on the defensive line, he's got an opportunity to be productive, and he's a player I'm kind of interested to see what he can do in this Mike Zimmerman defense, because I know Mike Zimmer uh, is great at creating creating sack creating sacks and using people uh, to the best of their abilities. Sorry, that was a bit long-winded there, but I'm just excited to see what he can do in this Mike Zimmerman defense. It'll be interesting to see. I'd like to see something from these rookies from last year, right? We didn't see much from Mozzie Smith. He's somebody I'm excited to see about. We didn't see much from Luke Schoonmaker. He's somebody that could be, adding another weapon in the red zone or on this offense. That could be exciting. Fehoko, uh, and there's somebody else I'm forgetting, so please forgive me. I can't think of the third round pick. Oh, Demarion Overshown, man. If this rookie class can take a leap, can be productive, just fill the space, fill the void left behind in free agency, man. I've been talking about this a few times. I've mentioned this a few times about this defense, but man, under Mike Zimmer, this defense could actually be better than what we saw in the Dan Quinn era. That's kind of crazy to think about. Of course, we all know how great this defense was under Dan Quinn, but to think that it could even be better is kind of a crazy thought. But guys, it's late. I'm starting to ramble. So I hope everybody's having a good night. Again, stay safe. Enjoy your Saturday. I'm Paul Ryan, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.